Former England star, Steph Houghton reveals she's expecting her first child with her husband Stephen Darby after sharing hopes they could become parents amid his battle with motor neuron disease. Steph Houghton has revealed she's pregnant with her first child. The England lioness, 38, shared the happy news in an Instagram post on Saturday. After sharing hopes, she and her husband Stephen Darby could still become parents despite his battle with motor neuron disease. Posting a snap of her ultrasound on Instagram, Steph captioned the post, "Half of you, our family will soon be 3. Stephen was forced to retire from football in September 2018 after being diagnosed with the rare condition, and Steph gave up playing in 2024 so she could spend more time caring for him.
Flies and gnats invading your kitchen? Plug in the Zevo Flying Insect Trap to attract and catch flying pests with blue and UV light day and night. Want to check today's Amazon deal? Scan the QR code now or visit grabdeal.us/1 before it's gone.
The couple had been married for just 3 months when he was diagnosed, and he has now lived with the debilitating disease for nearly 7 years. Describing how they're still hopeful that they can have a child in the future, Steph told ITV News last year, "It was always a dream of ours to be parents one day, and that's still possible. It's something that we'll always continue to speak about." Former England lioness Steph Houghton has revealed she's pregnant with her first child, sharing she will welcome a baby with her husband Stephen Darby later this year. The Manchester City star had previously shared her hopes that she and Stephen could still become parents after he was diagnosed with motor neuron disease in 2018. "I love him to absolute bits. I know he's as strong as ever. He's willing to fight this for as long as possible." Houghton, who retired from Manchester City in 2024, said watching the man she loves unable to do everyday tasks has been one of the hardest things. She said, "How do you ever describe the changes that we've had as a family? It's so hard to see your husband who had so much promise in his football career. To see that being taken away from him, but also the simple tasks that we take for granted, being able to walk, being able to have food, being able to get up the stairs." This weekend, supporters of Darby Rimmer MND Foundation will collectively walk 178 miles, starting at Wembley and taking in 26 stadiums. Houghton said, "We are so desperate for that cure. We are so desperate for money to be put into research to allow families to have that little bit of hope." According to the NHS, there is currently no cure for MND, but there are treatments that help to reduce how it impacts a person's daily life, with the MND Association stating that the illness affects up to 5,000 adults in the UK at any time. It is a rare condition that affects the brain and nervous system, causing those diagnosed with the illness to suffer symptoms of weakness in their limbs, slurred speech, and weight loss. It can affect adults of any age, but is more likely to affect people over the age of 50. Darby was first diagnosed after he experienced a weakness in his hand, including seeing it fall off the steering wheel while he was driving and experiencing twitches in his arm. After 18 months of testing, he was finally given the news that he had MND. In November, the footballer, who captained the Lionesses between 2014 and 2021, revealed Darby had been fitted with a feeding tube following a percutaneous endoscopic gastrostomy to help him get the necessary nutrients into his body to survive. "You want Stephen to be living a normal life as much as possible, to be able to eat as much food as he can and get that calorie intake on board," she told The Guardian. "Over the last few months, it became a bit risky having food, and that's when the decision had to be made. We need Stephen to keep weight on and to eat. It hasn't been a great few months because these decisions are life-changing, and it takes a lot of time to get used to. But ultimately, it's the best thing for him. There are good and bad days, but I think we've adapted really well over the last 6 years. It's obviously a tough ride, but I want to be honest about the actual process and spread awareness of the disease." In December 2023, in a post headed, "A Reality of MND," Darby explained to his Instagram followers how the disease means he's now prone to falls and can no longer break them. He wrote, "As your body, arms, and legs become weaker, you are more susceptible to trips and falls. When you fall or trip, you can't use your arms to break your fall." The former sportsman added, "The falls aren't nice, and they also affect the family physically and emotionally who are left to pick you up and look after you. Darby said that with the support of his family, he had learned to adapt and overcome these obstacles, saying, "You pick yourself up and go again." Houghton said it was vital to discuss the reality of living with MND and opened up about feeling a sense of injustice that her husband's career was cut short against his will. "But the more you dwell on it, the more that it harms you," she added. "So I've learnt how important it is to be positive." Houghton and Darby married in June 2018, with the former Lioness previously revealing it was love at first sight. The pair spoke about their relationship on a podcast presented by the late rugby league great Rob Burrow, who died in June following a battle with MND. Houghton recalled that they first came together thanks to a meeting arranged by her agent. She admitted that her first impression was that he smelled amazing, joking that he must have put the whole bottle of aftershave on. Darby, meanwhile, recalled buying new clothes before the meeting and only realized when he got home that he still had a sticky tag on the back of his trousers. During the podcast, Houghton admitted she had never heard of MND before Stephen got diagnosed and remembers asking, "Why us?" and feeling upset and angry. Darby, who played for Swindon Town, Notts County, Rochdale, Bradford City, and Bolton Wanderers before his career was cut short, has aimed to raise awareness of MND since his diagnosis. He raised £130,000 alongside Marcus Stewart, another ex-footballer suffering from MND, by completing a 178-mile charity march from Anfield to Valley Parade last year. He also encouraged Houghton to keep playing football before she eventually hung her boots up at the end of last season. Houghton is now an ambassador for Manchester City, while she has also begun her coaching journey, worked as a pundit for Sky, and started a podcast alongside Ian Wright. Houghton admits to feeling guilt when she has to leave Darby behind for her work, but has hailed the support network the couple have in place that has helped them through such a difficult period. "When I'm going to games or having to stay overnight, I feel a little guilty because I'm not with Stephen," Houghton added. "It takes a lot out of you emotionally. These last few months have been challenging because you always have that worry in the back of your head if you're not there and something happens. You just want it to be okay, but I think we're getting into more of a routine. Our families have been absolutely unreal as we've got such a good support network. It allows me to do what I need to do and for Stephen to have the best possible care." The NHS describes motor neuron disease, MND, as an uncommon condition that affects the brain and nerves. It causes weakness that gets worse over time. The weakness is caused by the deterioration of motor neurons, upper motor neurons that travel from the brain down the spinal cord, and lower motor neurons that spread out to the face, throat, and limbs. It was first discovered in 1865 by a French neurologist, Jean-Martin Charcot, hence why MND is sometimes known as Charcot's disease. In the UK, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, is referred to as motor neuron disease, while in the US, ALS is referred to as a specific subset of MND, which is defined as a group of neurological disorders. However, according to Oxford University Hospitals, nearly 90% of patients with MND have the mixed ALS form of the disease, so that the terms MND and ALS are commonly used to mean the same thing. Weakness in the ankle or leg, which may manifest itself with trips or difficulty ascending stairs, and a weakness in the ability to grip things. Slurred speech is an early symptom and may later worsen to include difficulty swallowing food. Muscle cramps or twitches are also a symptom, as is weight loss due to leg and arm muscles growing thinner over time. MND is difficult to diagnose in its early stages because several conditions may cause similar symptoms. There is also no one test used to ascertain its presence. However, the disease is usually diagnosed through a process of exclusion, whereby diseases that manifest similar symptoms to ALS are excluded. There is no cure for MND, and the disease is fatal. However, the disease progresses at different speeds in patients. People with MND are expected to live 2 to 5 years after the symptoms first manifest, although 10% of sufferers live at least 10 years. The NHS says that MND is an uncommon condition that predominantly affects older people. However, it caveats that it can affect adults of any age. The NHS says that, as of yet, it is not yet known why the disease happens. The ALS Association says that MND occurs throughout the world, with no racial, ethnic, or socioeconomic boundaries and can affect anyone. It says that war veterans are twice as likely to develop ALS and that men are 20% more likely to get it. Lou Gehrig was one of baseball's preeminent stars while playing for the Yankees between 1923 and 1939. Known as the Iron Horse, he played in 2,130 consecutive games before ALS forced him to retire. The record was broken by Cal Ripken Jr. in 1995. As well as being known as ALS and Charcot's disease, MND is frequently referred to as Lou Gehrig's disease. Lou Gehrig was a hugely popular baseball player who played for the New York Yankees between 1923 and 1939. He was famous for his strength and was nicknamed the Iron Horse. His strength, popularity, and fame transcended the sport of baseball, and the condition adopted the name of the sportsman.